We have been searching from ear to ear, struggling in the search for emancipation. Emancipate your soul and mind. So if we want to see our struggling paid, so when tomorrow come, we don't forget. Stay home, save and enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Emancipation online. Stay home with your family and have a good time. Emancipate, celebrate the date. Time to unite. Everybody come and join us in the Raizal Emancipation. Everybody come and join us in the Raizal Emancipation. Me say me want to know we join us in the Raizal Emancipation. People have been up to join us in the Raizal Emancipation.
This is a conversation, history that concerns the process of racial emancipation. Welcome to our racial emancipation celebration. Yeah, man, all the Asians are right here. So, today we are going to speak about racism within the Afro community. Very important matter. All of we up here, the Afro. So, make we see what we are talking about. But for that matter, we have special guests, special people that we are invited to be with us today. We have Roy Newball. Roy Newball is an activist and one of the founders of the TMN-SD group. Grayburn Livingston, Raizal youth leader with a Magister in Caribbean Studies. Eileen Hooker, young Raizal business student in the city of Medellin. Patricia Bui Humir. She's a bilingual secretary, a Christian educator, also a woman activist. One of the founders of the Woman Social Network of the department. We have Mr. Juan Ramirez, community leader and a Raizal activist, a promoter of human rights. And Mr. Wal Hayes, member of the Raizal Authority and human rights activist. So, get ready because this is the Afro community. The theme for today, racism within the Afro community. While many times we discuss racism of white colonizers, we must also be aware that within the Afro communities, there is racism amongst each other and towards other people of different tone of black skin. That sounds a little racial, racism among the racial community. Do you believe among the racial people we are racist? Do you believe? You go ahead, give your answer also. But for that question, we have Mr. Rai Newball. Mr. Rai, do you believe in the racial community we have racism among us?
Yes, I believe so.
And, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a reality. I don't know if you want me to give you examples or...
Yeah, in your words, because you just say yes, it's a reality, but why do you believe this is a reality? I want to know because you believe some people, other black brother look at me and say I black or something like that. If I'm black, I'm black.
For example, for example, we were discussing a while ago among ourselves. I mean, out of camera, of course.
Behind stage.
You ever see maybe two children, black children, and they are one of them is saying to the other one, "Oh, you more black than me," or "You black and I brown," and you ever see that?
Yeah, I see.
Okay, I believe those are signs of racism or racism. I was told, and I mean, there are stories that people tell.
Make I say something before we go. You black, you're brown, or you're
I'm a black man. I'm a black man.
Okay.
I'm a black man. And I'm Afro-Caribbean man. Black, beautiful man.
Well, I don't know what the part.
A black, beautiful man. Okay. I do not want to maybe touch these things, no? But an example really of the existence of racism among us as black people, I mean Raizal people, is what took place, for example, when Reverend Philip Beekman, our father, as we call him, when he married the second time, when his first wife died, and he married the second time, he married to a black woman, a woman that used to work with them as servant, whatever. And that brings certain things to the extreme. I was told that the guy, once on the morning, he had us to when he went to service, he went with him bridge loader and he put it up, and lean it up on the pulpit, and he had us to call the attention of the people strongly, because the people that were commenting, I mean, how is it really that a white man, I mean, and a pastor, how you are married to your black maid? I mean, that's yes, I mean, the people could not conceive that. But why? It was a way of racism. Now, what brought that in us? What caused black people to hate, to despise other black people? I believe, as we go back to the beginning, Mr. Willie Lynch, he made a manual which he sold it to the slave masters or the slave holders of the time of some procedures how to make a slave out of a black man. How to make a slave out of a black man. And one of the majority of the things there, or the idea there, was to build enmity between the black slaves. Because if they could build enmity, if I as a slave and Brother Grable as a slave, if they could provoke enmity between he and myself, then it would be difficult for me and him to agree in order to revolt or to try to, to go against our slaveholders or our masters. You understand me? So the procedures, the majority of the procedures was things to build enmity between the slaves. For them was to hate one another.
Brother.
To split that togetherness. And sometimes I ask myself, really, coming back to our Raizal community, really,
happening today?
We could ask that question. Why can't we come together? Why can't we agree around a common issue?
The manual, brother, the manual.
I don't know. Well, at least Willie Lynch said that he assured them, he said, if you follow that step by step, you will have a slave for at least 500 years. At least instead of 500 years. It could be more, much more. But at least it was guaranteeing them that if they follow that manual, that person will be a slave for at least 500 years.
I have a personal question, and also I believe plenty of people will ask this question. We went from Kana to Kana. Mr. Wall, I want you right now, Because plenty people look at me and say, hey, while black or in white? While black or in white? Or tell because him say in black, but it look white. So we want to know right now. Well, we can take out that doubt where we got today. Well, you're black or you're white?
I'm a black man. I know I give you, I have no, if you ask me like Chloe, if you give your argument, there'll be something different. But
Oh, no, listen to the man because all the time when they are seeing white, he's saying black but in white.
I'm a black man because it's my background is where I come from. My parents and black they come from slavery same way. Well, you will say that be somebody come of a mixture of after the time when this racism was trying to end or something like so. Some kind of a rebelness between my four parents them around there and maybe have that mixture come out. Now, those things them all the time you have a chance to choose your identity, you know, that is in a situation like me, well, you'd have say, okay, if you go by the color of the skin, well, you classify me as something. But my head is where I tell me what I am or who I is or what I believe. Okay? Others people who have dark complexity, black man, them brains is not as much as what you would think. Them head are crazy somewhere. But as for me, I am a black man. Now, circumstance of life come out that I have children and one come out with one complex clear and one come out with one complex.
They were saying that one I don't for you.
You see what I tell you now? So now there is a situation I can't come and hide to say where I coming from because when you're coming from it will still express in what coming after you. So there is a real situation
Miss
of that.
Patsy, welcome to our Raizal Emancipation celebration. Patsy, do you believe the Afro term is defined by the color of the skin?
Well, first of all, I want to say it's a privilege for me to be in this program where we are celebrating our emancipation, or Raizal emancipation. And going back all the way to what Afro really means, speaking of coming from Africa, right? Mm-hmm. So due to the fact that we are talking about Afro that comes from the root of African, most likely it has nothing to do with the skin, but like what just said, our background, where our foreparents came from as slaves.
Wow, what an explanation. I'm not going to I know ask about that again. Yeah, man, that is a good answer. Grayburn, I see like you want talk. I see your tongue they eat you.
Last time.
Tell me, brother Grayburn, this racism and the term racial, it have any combination or we going separate?
Before I want to say two things related at the comment.
Yeah, man.
But before I want to invite all of you to use the social network and make a hashtag Raizal Emancipation because we're still there in the fight. I want to make a call out to all of you to the hashtag Raizal Emancipation because we have to start moving a little bit more. All right, now the idea of this internal racism is a correct collateral effect over the whole structure of the racism. The racism based on a man that is superior and one that is inferior. The superior is the white male European, and the inferior is everything that is different than that within that. So when they create this model of world as system, they created this division where they based on the human line. The man that they consider man, human being, is the white European male. The one that is inferior is everything that is different, like the black, the Indian, and the rest of them that do not have this complexity. So within that, they have a system. The system organizes the structure. And within the one that they not consider human, they create some hierarchy. This hierarchy is, we have black, where they consider non-human. We have the subhumans, where are the clear skin or the one that got more better complexity nearer to the white man. So in that sense, they create like one distortion of what we are as black people, and they created a conflict even between us. So we have people that say, no, me no black, me like a clearer or me brown. Yeah. But the basis of our culture and of our race, race is a social construction, is black. But what happened? You can clear white, got brown skin, you can got any amount of mixture you want, but you don't define your racial identity. It's the white man who defines your racial identity. It's so strong to you go states that you have 1% of black blood in you, you're black. You go to Europe, you got 1% of black blood, you're black. You're not white, you're black. So we have to start deconstruct this concept of my skin a little bit whiter, my skin a little bit clearer, so me no black. You really are black. But you have a mixture which creolize around the blackness, and you come out this type of way. But you, for them who establish the rule them in the world, you're black. And you will continue being black. And they will look all kind of racist structure to have you there. Within racism, you have hierarchy, but you have also benefits. The clearer people them are showing that they have more advantage socially and a totally black person. And that is what the system creates in order to get us in conflict, like how he said, with Lynch. So we have people really clear skin that advances politically, socially, economically, more than the one that are really, really black. But the question is, we as activists, which position we should take? We should always take the position as the one that don't have opportunity. We have to identify ourselves as black people in order to guarantee an political and a theoretical advance over this team that is part of the system.
Excellent participation, Mr. Grayburn. Eileen, I want to know if you have experienced any type of racism in your university. Do you have that problem? Do you have any confrontation with other students just by your ethnical group that you are belonging?
Okay, well, personally, I can say, thank and praise the Lord, I haven't passed through any situation of this. To the contrary, in the city that I am studying, I have been embraced. People, let's say, they appreciate that we are all different, but we can still have a close acquaintance and a friendship.
Mr. Juan, I have read a poem that you wrote and also listened to it a lot of time, Naked Skin. When you wrote Naked Skin, was a romantic poem, a poem about our ethnical group, or just you were in love? Tell me about that. No, you have your microphone.
First of all, I want to relate to the first question that you addressed to Brother Newball. If amongst the Raizal people, this is the term, we have Indo-racism. That is the term. I don't believe we have Indo-racism. We have social distances created by the same ethnic stage of life. Racism is hatred. And amongst Native people, I don't believe we get to that stage of hatred. If you look the way Native people live, white or clear-skinned people and black Afro descendants live maybe in the same yard, in the same sector, together, and they talk. And one can go to the house, visit the neighborhood, and ask for a glass of water, or a bread, or a plantain, or a bosco, or a breadfruit, and you get it. In racism practices, you can't get that from the next person. you are not accepted from the next person. There is a distance, a social distance, and that is created in the mind of the people, in the heart of the people, in the spirit of the people, hatred. Amongst, we might have some Indo-discrimination, which is different from racism when you look at them. Ethnic social discrimination.
That is one of the question, right? That you say you are going to answer. But I see Patsy went like that and shaking her head, and I want to know if they say yes or they say no. Because I want to see your position in Juan's answer.
Okay. Maybe Juan has a deeper concept than most of us have about this issue, but I want to express that I differentiate from what he's saying, because really we notice that among ourselves, and it's things that we live on a daily basis. We go to the basketball game, for example, and I know that the other teams, the other basketball teams would kill, and they have gone to the extreme. Just this past December tournament, it was like wanting to kill within each other, who was from Brooks Hill and who was from Barrack, and we are all from the Hill. And it was hatred. It was hatred, and we can say it because we learned that so many things happen, even necromancy and all this stuff that they said was practiced. And that is when you have hatred in your heart. So we do have, and I can tell you for myself, I live at Claymont. We all said Barrack, but I live at Claymont and Barrack is further up, because we need to get back to that too, that we know what our sectors are all named. And I go, because of my position as the president of the Communal Community in Action, I go to the Barrack, and when we go there to do things that the people don't like or don't want to scope up with, they said, we don't need you to come here because you are not from Barrack. You are from Claymont. So what you call that, it's not, and it's like with hatred, that people do it and they act upon it. Because one thing is that maybe I think it, but the other thing is when you act toward hurting the other person, showing hatred, like you just said, then that is racism. And it's not only in our color. We have racism thinking that because you live in North End and I live in South End, I'm better than you. Or because I work at the Gobernación and you work at Trustbuster, I'm better than you. It's all around that we call racism, because we take the races, those live in town, those live on the south side, those live on the hill, those live in San Luis, as different people. And even to our last names.
Okay.
I know that happens a lot, that people don't like other people. They hate them because they have this last name or the other last name. I am Bowie and he's Farb, so we cannot get together. We are all black.
I see that your shaking was no. Okay, we are going to some commercial. We're coming right back with yes.
Question,
yes, we're coming back, Mr. Juan. We're coming back. Here, yeah, we're coming back because we know how to get tired. We know, so we're coming back right now. No, stay right there. We are back in our conversation, history that concerns the process of racial emancipation, racism within the Afro community. Thank you to be there waiting for us, and we are here being with you. Mr. Juan, we got an Africa while, and you got something to say about the naked skin. You got 1 minute to talk about the naked skin.
I reject it because I said I want to continue the discussion.
You want discussion?
And then before I take up this.
All right.
Maybe in the past, we had a lot of discrimination, ethnic status, even by the sector where you live, and your economical and social start to play that role. And this theme that we are touching can't stay here on stage, related to the endo-racism among racial people. This have to continue this debate. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but is a serious theme. Okay. So you will see that we overcome what we are talking about, resistance and unrest, that amongst native you will find red skin. Well, the red skin, I used to call the indigenous North American them, but clear skin, or people used to say light skin or brown skin, married to a dark skinned person. Many of that is in our society today. So it's a debate that we should try to clear up, because this conversation, the native people will see it and it might affect them and put them in the position, oh hell, we have racism and unrest, and things might go worse if we don't clear up this fine. Yeah. So about naked skin, this poem was related to the beauty and to the value, social value, human value, as my skin as a race, a human race, not an ethnic or skin race, as a human race. My skin is like the morning shadow and as beautiful as your first smile. So in the context of the poem, is even related to, because of my skin I have been jailed, hanged, and denied, forbid to kiss you, because that happened because the color of my skin. But when you look on the biblical history and you see how the Queen of Saba conquered Solomon with her beauty and the color of the skin, the wealthy and the intelligence that he had, it was related to the human race, okay, not to the ethnic and the color of the skin.
Okay, Mr. Grayburn, I see like you like this racism. You believe in a percentage in our island, we say we have it already. Juan call it in the discrimination. Do you believe in a percentage? What percentage would you give racism on our territory?
I really can't tell you, because
you don't have
we forget all these oppressive systems that got us fighting amongst that. We don't make no studies. Like, right now we don't have no academic study about racism in San Andres.
But we have racism.
But we have. So the invitation is that we make studies around the category of racism within the island, from the sociological, the ethnographical, all these different elements, in order to have some strong argument to see what is happening in the territory around racism.
Yes, this team, as Juan said, we have to get a more debate about this matter. But racism in our territory is more or less, we can see it, and we can try to overcome this situation and stop fight among ourselves and unite to can come out of other situation that we as an ethnical group, a racial people, can find in our way to get to our objective. Now we thank you to be with us in this panel. We thank you to be here listening, and remember, stay home and follow our program, because this is the Raizal celebration in our Raizal Emancipation. Yes, we're coming back in our next program with Afro woman challenges in equality and racism. Thank you. God bless you.